The BAC has created a fantastic program for you today. We actually had so much that we wanted to talk about, we had to cut a whole bunch of stuff. So we tried to keep it to the best, the most important things that we want to talk about. And you should know, students created everything that you're going to see. I'm just here to organize. So this is all student-led. So I hope that you can support your fellow Huskies, your BAC members, because they're very excited to share with you. So let's give our hosts a big round of applause.
Good morning. Actually, it's afternoon, sorry. Good afternoon, and welcome to our celebration of Black History Month. My name is Eto, and I will be your, what is it again? Your host today. I'm sure most of you know it is Black History Month, but for those of you who don't, it is a month for us to celebrate Black history in Canada. But we at BAC have done a little bit more than just celebrate Black history in Canada. We've tried to celebrate Black history at its roots. To start, I'm going to bring our Vice President, Roman, to help us.
So we prepared this PowerPoint for you, and let's get started. So most of the time, if we learn about Black history in Canada, we only learn about the Underground Railroad. So we ask, why is that? How come we only learn about the Underground Railroad? We know that the Underground Railroad was an important part of Canadian Black history, but what do we learn about the lives Black folks led before and after they arrived in Canada?
Europeans enslaved thousands of Africans and indigenous people in New France from the early 1600s and even 1834, when slavery was abolished in what was then called British North America. That means that slavery existed for over 200 years on lands we now refer to as Canada. European slavers saw this as a way to make money. Enslaved people were bought, sold, traded, and inherited like goods or property as they made money for their owners. Though the number of slaves in New France and British North America did not come close to the United States, victims of slavery in what we now call Canada had no human rights, and often suffered horrible punishments for fleeing or tried to run away.
In 1793, Upper Canada, now Ontario, passed the Anti-Slavery Act. This law freed enslaved people aged 25 and over and made it illegal to bring enslaved people into Upper Canada. In 1833, the Slavery Abolition Act was passed, ending the transatlantic slave trade in Britain and the Commonwealth, and making enslavement officially illegal in every province. Though the victims of slavery were now free, they did not have an easy road ahead of them, for segregation and discrimination would then be a part of their everyday life.
The next thing we're going to talk about are Black hairstyles. I'm sure you all have Black friends who have, hopefully, pretty hairstyles. So let's dive into that. Braided hairstyles originated in sub-Saharan Africa, dating back at least 3000 BC. That is 5,024 years before this. They were used to indicate social position, age, marital status, occupation, and tribe. They were also used as a form of communication among enslaved people during colonialism, passing on a message and routes of escape. Braids and other styles were also used to secretly store food for survival, like seeds and rice.
Resistance is and was an important part of Black history in Canada because the upstanders who opposed Black oppression often faced unfair punishment. Viola Desmond is someone who many of us are familiar with. She is often considered the Canadian Rosa Parks because she refused to sit in the non-white section of a movie theater. Her resistance and the message she communicated have had a lasting impact, and we now see her on the $10 bill.
Marie Joseph Angelique was an enslaved Black woman in Montreal. In 1934, she was accused of setting a fire while trying to escape. She was convicted, tortured, and sentenced to death at the age of 29. We'll never know the truth about what actually happened, but her story has become a symbol of Black resistance and freedom.
Mary Ann Shadd was an educator and publisher who lived much of her life in Canada. She was the first Black female newspaper publisher in Canada, as well as the second African American woman to earn a law degree in the USA.
Bromley Armstrong was a civil rights activist and member of the military. In 1943, she was refused service in a restaurant in Ontario. When he protested to the government, he was told that racial discrimination was not against the law. He went on to fight for equality and build many black organizations.
Black history has been iterated many times as a rich culture up until this point. We have showcased that in a way that is maybe less engaging. Let's entertain you with a show of African attire.
Let the fashion show begin.
What am I doing? Give me.
What a wonderful showcase of fashion. Thank you, our models, for walking up onto stage. That takes a lot of guts, just so you know. They did all of that by themselves, and they got their own clothes. Another part of African culture is its diversity. Another part of African culture is its diversity. Another part of African culture is its diversity. African culture is very diverse, and there are different branches of a culture called ethnic groups. In the previous document, we described ethnic groups and gave, well, not this document. This is African ethnic groups. To begin with the ethnic groups in the countries of Africa, we will start with Nigeria. Many students of the black community in Maplehurst are from Nigeria, and many of us in the BAC are also from Nigeria. That is why we will start by talking about Nigeria. Nigeria as a country has over 250 ethnic groups. The Igbo, Hausa, and Yoruba are the most populous tribes in the country. However, other popular tribes include the Fulani. I'm just going to drop the accent. The Fulani, the Efik, the Tif, the Ibibio, and the Ijo. The Ijo, Etsekiri, among others. We'll explain most of the populous ethnic groups in their order in the text. So that means we'll start by explaining the Igbo ethnic group. The Igbo ethnic group is one of the largest ethnic groups in Nigeria. They have a rich cultural heritage and a long history that predates European colonialism. Residing in the southeastern part of Africa, of Nigeria, the Igbos are known for their entrepreneurial spirits, emphasis on education, and vibrant traditions. The Igbo language, Igbo, is a tonal language with numerous dialects. Traditionally, Igbo society is organized into decentralized villages, communities, each governed by a council of elders. Their traditional religion, Odinani, centers around a belief in a supreme deity and a pantheon of spirits. However, many Igbo individuals also practice Christianity, introduced during the colonial era. Igbo art, including masquerades, sculptures, and textiles, reflect their culture cultural values, and spiritual beliefs. Despite historical challenges, the Igbo people have maintained a powerful sense of identity and continue to contribute significantly to Nigeria's diverse cultural landscape. The Vice President Roman will take over from here. Yes.
The next ethnic group are the Hausa. The Hausa people predominantly found in West Africa, particularly in Nigeria, Niger, and parts of Sudan, are renowned for their rich culture, heritage, and historical significance, with a population exceeding 70 million. The Hausa are one of the largest ethnic groups in Africa. The Hausa language, a Shadiak language, serves as a unifying factor among the diverse Hausa communities. Traditionally, the Hausa society is organized into city-states, each governed by a traditional leader known as the Imam. Islam has deeply influenced Hausa culture, shaping their social, economic, and political structures. The Hausa people are known for their skilled craftsmanship, seen in intricate leatherwork, weaving, and metalwork. Their culture festivals, such as the Dubar, highlight colorful celebrations with traditional music, dance, and equestrian events. Despite their diverse occupations, the Hausa maintain a strong cultural identity and have played a critical role in the historical and contemporary development of West Africa. The next ethnic group are the Yoruba. The Yoruba people concentrated in southwestern Nigeria as well as parts of Benin and Togo are one of the largest and culturally significant ethnic groups in Africa with a population exceeding 40 million. The Yoruba boast a rich history, language, and diverse cultural practices. The Yoruba language, a Niger-Congo language, is known by the majority and the people known for their strength. Emphasis on education and scholarship. The Yoruba people have a complex system of governance with various kingdoms and city-states historically ruled by obas, kings, and councils of city-states historically, and councils of chiefs. Yoruba culture is deeply rooted in mythology, folklore, and artistic expression, as seen in their vibrant festivals. Intricate beadwork and skilled wood carving. Much of the Yoruba practice either Islam, Christianity, or a blend of traditional Yoruba religious beliefs. Their cosmopolitan of traditional nature, dynamic arts, and significant contributions to literature, music, and philosophy make the Yoruba a vital and influential culture group in Africa. They are the most populous ethnic groups in Nigeria. Let us now talk about ethnic groups in other countries. Another African country that we would like to talk to you about is Cameroon. Let's let Edo take that over.
Cameroon is located in Central Africa. It is often referred to as a part of Central and West Africa due to its geographical position, as it shares borders with countries in both regions. Nigeria borders Cameroon to the west, Chad to the northeast, and Central African Republic to the east. Gabon and Equatorial Guinea to the south, and the Atlantic Ocean to the southwest. The country's diverse geography includes coastal plains, mountains, savannas, and rainforests, contributing to its rich biodiversity and cultural diversity. The three most populous ethnic groups in Cameroon are the Beti Fawin, the Bamileke, and the Bamileke. We'll explain each of them in their order in the test. The Beti Fawin ethnic group is one of the largest in Cameroon. It includes subgroups such as the Ewondo, Bulu, and Fang. The Beti Fawin people are primarily located in central and southern regions of Cameroon. The next ethnic group are the Bamileke. The Bamileke are a significant ethnic group found in the western highlands of Cameroon. They are also known for their agricultural practices, entrepreneurship, and cultural traditions. The Bamileke are composed of various Did you like it? Thank you. Thank you. We're running out of time, and I'm sorry we can't show you everything we did, but we will show you everything else for the remainder of February and some of March. We'll do it on the screens and TVs, and on the announcements. A last word from our host, Roman.
Thank you for watching and have a good day. Goodbye.